West Tigers fans, in the annals of history, they'll remember three things: the invention of the submarine, the stuff to line up, the invention of the submarine, the discovery of fire, and the West Tigers Parramatta Eels Spoonbowl. Let's preview it right now. I always say actors' jobs are very easy, but I can't even remember one freaking line from a Will Ferrell movie. Welcome in, West Tigers fans, to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. At WestsLife Pod, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter, and you'll find our Linktree link on those profile pages, and you can find things like our Patreon, or you can find that at patreon.com/Westlife. And shouts to all our legends. They've got a few rants and stuff to read out later in the show. The Discord's been very fun this week. West Tigers fans are truly feeling it. A few signings. Season coming to a close with a big game that we'll preview tonight. And our YouTube channel, shouts to all of you coming in. Who have we got? Let me check the comments on the live YouTube stream. Riffs coming in from Miami. Amanda, yay. Usually you guys, good on you, Amanda. There's a lady amongst the fellas. Slay Batty, Stephen's there on Facebook. Blake, Phil Rogers from England. The whole world's with us. Chris, Magpie, Nate, Grace. Hey, two girls. There we go. Nice work. Good on you, Grace. Nathan, Liam. They're all here. So join in the fun. Subscribe to our YouTube. Only a couple of live shows to go for the year before the West Tigers season finishes. We'll have a few fun things to do for a couple of episodes post-season. But for now, one last game to preview. But, of course, we can't do that without the stats man, Aaron Thompson. How are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day, Josh. G'day, Rob. G'day, everyone watching and listening. I'm not feeling as sick as I was last week, so that's a positive. Ready to go out there on Friday night and absolutely lose my voice. And my throat, that's still a little bit dodgy at the moment, probably is not going to be feeling too much better this time on Saturday.
That's all right. Yeah, the buy round to rest up at least.
It was a good time to have the flu, though. That's for sure.
And coming in from the Red Room, he's fired up, ready to head out to Campbelltown on Friday evening. Roberto Bashara, how are you this evening?
I'm well, Josh. G'day, Aaron. G'day, everyone. Lucky I wasn't eating or drinking, Josh, when you said the annals of history. I was waiting for annals of history, but yeah, you caught me by surprise there.
Yeah, that's how I was. Obviously, for those who don't know, I was trying to quote the movie, the classic movie Semi-Pro, when they're talking about fourth place, trying to make, they call it the Mega Bowl or something to win fourth place. So I tried to do it. I should have written it down. Note to self: write notes if you're going to do a monologue to start the show. So, but we got there. I got there in the end. So. Firstly, let's shout out to our friends at iChoice. So we're coming from home tonight, not at iChoice tonight, again with Az still being a little bit contagious. We didn't want to, breathe in his scratchy throat fumes and try and pass it on to our respective children, grandchildren, families, and that sort of thing. So we're quarantining Az for another week, but that doesn't mean we don't love our sponsor, iChoice, on the corner of, what is it again, Rob?
Liverpool Road and the Boulevard.
Liverpool Road and the Boulevard, that big intersection in Strathfield. They're the best place to get your home loans, even if you've got a home loan now. Interest rates, who knows what they're going to do. So Jason can sort you out, get you a cheaper loan. Big West Tigers fans. We had him on the show 2 weeks ago. As he said, yeah, massive Tigers fans, mates with Junior Pierce and all sorts. He's a Tiger since way back. So give Jason and his team a call on 9743-0000. Go to iChoice.com.au. And another big West Tigers fans, of course, is Stephen and his team at Mobile Corp, formerly MLC Phones, sponsor of the Tigers as well. Mobile Corp is a proud sponsor of the WestsLife podcast. The business in its early days was a major sponsor of the Balmain Tigers, or Sydney Tigers. For all your business IT needs, from cloud-based telephony, security, desktop support, or anything Microsoft, reach out to Mobile Corp through their website, mobilecorp.com.au, and mention you're a WestsLife podcast listener. And yeah, they'll look after you. Mobilecorp.com.au. It's mobilecorp.com.au. Righto. From a couple of legendary sponsors to a legendary CEO, our man in charge, Shane Richardson, did a little 7 or 8 minute podcast with Mr. Warren on Behind the Raw. Got a couple clips here to play, but before we do that, Rob, you've had a listen of the podcast, I believe. How good is this guy? God, the more we get into his tenure, the more I love him.
Yeah, we just need our footy team to be like Richo and play on the front foot. He's always open and transparent, as we keep saying. I think the timing was perfect as well, because I'm pretty sure that, shows like NRL 360 and the like would have gone to town on us. It was really good that he clarified everything. As a member and supporter, I'm always worried about stability within the club and how it looks for prospective players and player managers and parents of those players. Should I send my son or daughter to play for the women's team, of course, to the West Tigers? And if there's just continuous bickering, it's just such a poor look. So I'm really glad that he came out on the front foot. Obviously, he teed it up, and it was so short too. Like when I saw it was just over 8 minutes, I thought, well, this will be an easy listen. He just nailed everything, put everything to bed. There's really nothing to be worried about in terms of the West Tigers and the entity and how it will keep moving forward. I still think there are some factions from both sides that still love to bicker, and they're just going to keep bickering no matter what, just like we got some supporters, whether they be Balmain or West Magpies, that are still living in the Stone Age. It is what it is. We're all made differently. We've all got our passions and what we like, but just glad he came out, sorted it out, and look, we've got a big game to focus on this week, and that was probably the best thing he could have done for everyone concerned.
100%. Here's Richo talking about the board member issues.
I can assure you this and tell all the members, once again, there's two things. One, no one's going to knock us off the course we're on. We're on a course that we've committed to. It's on the website. Nothing will change from that. So no matter what, some shit that comes outside from anybody outside will make no difference to it. The second thing is it never ceases to amaze me with clubs, and it's not just this club, but this club unfortunately listens too much to the outside noise, or has done in the past. It never ceases to amaze me that people say all the time, I love this club. Yeah, well, I'm not sure how much you love it. They probably love the Blazers and the information around it, because all they want to do is create problems and challenges for us externally. In the past, we've had journalists who have been very close to the board and have received leaks. They've received none of those leaks this year. This board has been tight as a drum, and we've gone ahead and achieved everything during the year. The board has unanimously agreed on every resolution, including the budget that's just been put in place, including the format for where we're going, etc. So please, for everybody out there, I take no notice of the scuttlebutt, except when it starts to become just sheerly ridiculous. But more importantly, when I need to talk to you directly and explain the situation, which any journalist, if they rang me, would get the same information.
So, Rob, obviously, hard out of the gates there from Richo, reassuring us all that, the club is still on its course, as he said.
Yeah, look, that second point he made about, us fans sort of listening too much to the outside noise, I'm definitely one of those, unfortunately. And I think it's because, we've suffered for so long. We haven't made the final since 2011. So we're kind of hanging on to every word people say. We're looking for good stuff, but unfortunately the media feed on generally the bad stuff, and it's just tough being a Tigers supporter, period. I'm curious to know who he's referring to about the fans that say they love the club and then they are making their life difficulty or giving them grief. But, you know, I don't know if he's referring to supporters there that are in the media or something like that. But obviously he had a good swipe at the former chairman, current sponsor, and the former CEO about leaks to the media. But again, I mean, look, I trust Richo, but it seems that there are still a few leaks there. But I mean, they're probably coming from other people. But you're going to get onto the signings shortly, Josh. But you know, when you consider we've heard the stuff about Hunt from Cronulla for a while now. We've heard stuff about Jack Bird, which might be happening by the looks of it, or according to one report from Danny Weidler today, who's put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5 just because the bloke had a smile on his face when he was walking around the ground. Look, I think Richo's in a tough spot. He's handled it really well. What I did like, I don't know if you're playing this another clip of it, Josh, but just the fact that he said all the recommendations from the Crawford Barnier inquiry are going to be done. He said 90% of it done. The last 10% of it's done. Look, as long as Richo's happy, I'm happy, because unfortunately within the club we've got a lot of people who absolutely adore and love the club. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people there that don't have the runs on the board and have done things in the past where they've been in similar situations. Richo, on the other hand, has been there and done that with multiple clubs, got him from the bottom to the top. So I believe in what he's doing. But obviously there was so much noise and it snowballed, and there you could see with all the social media outcry. Look, and I had a go at Holman Barnes Group too, because, you know, the talk was that we weren't going to put 4 independent members, so maybe I should have done a little bit more research before, you know, going off myself. But, you know, that was one of the recommendations. And I think, just on a little side note, Josh, it's a very hard situation, because obviously Holman Barnes Group own, 90%, basically 80 to 90% of the club. So they've got to have people in there that look after their interests. But at the same time, these 4 independent members, we need West Tigers people first. And I think, you know, respectfully to Holman Barnes, who have been a sponsor of the show, Holman Barnes' major priority is obviously their clubs, making a profit, the Ashfield community, which a few of their directors are involved with. But a lot of those directors, Josh, who have been on the West Tigers board, have done a terrible job for a long time. And all it seems to do is we're just shuffling around playing musical chairs with some of these potatoes, and I just don't think they've created a culture where you can succeed as a footy team. And I think Richo's really just, you know, lifting that whole load on his own shoulders. So finally, you know, Richo's doing what he needs to do. But again, it's when you hear what Gary Leo said last week, who's a former Balmain, you know, great from the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and then you hear the fire back from some of the West Magpies fans. You just wonder if this thing's ever going to end in terms of the bickering. And when are we going to be West Tigers? You know, and they're only little things, Josh. I know. You know, both sides have to survive and do their own thing. But, you know, I'm a big stickler for the cup team being West Tigers. It shouldn't be West Magpies. And at the same time, it kind of irks me that there's Balmain merchandise being sold at a Leichhardt Oval game. Like, it should be all West Tigers. I don't know why anyone wants to buy Balmain merchandise. Guy, if you haven't got a jersey now after, you know, we've been out of the comp for 25 years, Balmain, I just don't know why we just can't all get behind the West Tigers. And, you know, the 3 of us go to Campbelltown, we go to Leichhardt. You know, I don't go to be fair to many other places like you guys do, but I just think there has to be a time where we just let all this old stuff go and just worry about what's best for West Tigers in the future and stop looking back in time. And yeah, I love my Balmain days, don't get me wrong, but if in a let's look, it's never going to happen. But if for some stupid reason some billionaire bought the West Tigers and changed the name to Balmain Tigers, I wouldn't support it. Like, we are West Tigers now, and that's our future. And the growth area is the MacArthur area, and we just have to all get behind it. And sure, we're going to have some great juniors come from the, you know, that Victoria Road belt, you know, the Right Eastwood belt and the Balmain junior system. But what's it going to take do we have to shake everyone by the throat and say, wake the fuck up? We're the West Tigers. We've been this is our 25th season. Like, come on, man, get on board, everyone.
100%. Well said. Yeah, definitely. It's got to stop. Like, it's like there's plenty of. We do a survey every year, and I was looking up what the results were at the start of the year. We did the preseason survey, and it was about 15-20% like as, and they didn't even support Balmain or West anyway, or they're too young to even remember them. Like, it was 25 years ago. So if you're 30, so I'm 36, so they were 99, I was 11. So the majority of my life, they've been West Tigers, and I'm approaching 40. So it has to happen eventually. I think the majority of the fans are like us, Rob, and looking to the future and love the West Tigers brand and want to succeed together. And we appreciate both sides of history. Like, as a Balmain, from a Balmain family myself, I love looking at Magpies history as well as the Balmain history. I love the Fibros versus Silvertails and all that stuff, but that's appreciating history, and there's also looking towards the future as well. And we are West Tigers. Like you said, we're stronger together. We've created a brand, one of the best sporting brands in the country. And just, I think it'll go away when they start winning games. I think winning solves most problems. But let's get to another clip of Richo talking about the review process, as Rob mentioned before.
All 7 of the Holman Barnes group who are currently on there, 7, there's been a change of chairman, but the 7, but all voted unanimously for the Crawford-Barney report, unanimously. And this board has put in place 90% of those recommendations over the year. It's been a tough year, working really hard behind the scenes. The boards work really well together. No leaks from that board whatsoever. And we've achieved 90% of the Barney report already. The only things remaining in the Barney report are this. And please, I'm telling you explicitly, as I would tell anybody who wanted to ring, the same thing. And that's this, that there's 2 major things that need to happen with the board. The first of all is the new shareholders agreements, which is in the hands of the solicitors, Clayton Nutz, with Clay Brown, who's been the lawyer for Holman Barnes for I don't know how long. That's waiting to be finalised now. I've seen the drafts. We're comfortable with the draft so far. As a board, we're waiting for it to be finalised. Once that's finalised, because until it's finalised, we have no right to be able to go to the marketplace to be able to appoint 3 new independent directors. So all the rubbish about what's going on, at the moment we can't do it until we get the shareholder agreement in place. It's sheerly a mechanical hold-up. It will be put in place, and as soon as it's in, we will then sit down with the chair of the Holman Barnes Group as our own board to come up with the recommendation of who is to be appointed to appoint those independent directors. So the first step is to getting the share, which is not in place yet, but it will be. It's a mechanical matter. Once that's done, we will then sit down and to appoint that group to do what we're doing.
So, Rob, yeah, a lot of technical mumbo jumbo in terms of the board and that sort of thing, but it is as Richo said there, it's a process and it will take a while. It's quite funny too that the lawyers that they use aren't the sponsor that you mentioned before. It's quite funny that they go to a competitor for their law advice, despite what they advertise at the games and on their website and on their jersey. Rob, is there any type of board member that you'd like to see come in as the independents?
I just want people that are West Tigers first. There's no issue if they've got a Magpies background or a Balmain background, but that has to be so secondary in nature. It's not funny. Every decision must be for the benefit of the West Tigers. I mean, obviously, it'd be good to have some well-to-do people that have got some connections, in terms of, maybe offering players a future post-football and what have you. But look, we just need guys that bleed West Tigers. And again, I think the issue's been we've been pretty dormant in terms of our spirit as a club. And what I mean by that, guys, is, and again, I don't mean it disrespectfully, but I just got to say it in black and white, pardon the pun. We've been to our mantra has been West Ashfield. We've had no identity. We're not Leichhardt, we're not Campbelltown, we're not Concord, we're not Ashfield. We're not anywhere. We've been nomads. We've had 5-6 home grounds. There hasn't been a care factor there where winning on the footy field is everything. As I said to you before, the majority ownership, more and rightfully so, they've got a business to run. They're more worried about their bottom line and, getting people into the clubs and worried about the Ashfield community and all that sort of thing. And if the footy team goes well, great. And as long as it's looking after itself financially and they don't have to keep tipping money into it, it was fine. But, in a way, it's been a godsend, the fact that we've had to sack 2 coaches in 3 years, and the fact that, Holman Barnes Group would have had to chip in to pay out the, roughly $1 million in contracts and what have you in dead money. That was probably the wake-up call, because really the club, West Ashfield, should have acted on this years ago. They shouldn't have hidden behind a petition or behind an independent inquiry. They should have the balls up front to make these decisions instead of having to say, oh, look, 2,500 fans complained, or we'll go off these 2 independents. They knew exactly what had to be done. They were just trying to be quite respectful to the former chairman, who was a sponsor and is the current sponsor, and to the previous CEO. But they really just should have tapped them both on the shoulder and said, see you later, boys. You've tried your best. You're just not doing a good job. We need to move on from this. And instead of having this stupid, drawn-out process that had to, be done by Tony Crawford and Gary Barney. And as I've said before, Gary, I was the first bloke Gary spoke to, and I think Tony spoke to Benny Elias. So, and they spoke to 50, 60 people to come up with all these recommendations that surely Holman Barnes Group knew what had to be done already. But look, ultimately, we've got to where we want. Thank God we got Richo. He's the best signing this club's ever had. That's including Appy Coruscant. That's including Gareth Ellis. It might take a lot of time, guys. I think it'll take him another year to sort out everything, whether it's in the club or the football staff, whatever the case may be. But, he's doing everything he can at the most realistic pace you can expect possible. I don't think members should be ringing him up and asking him questions. Let's let him do his job. We know he's doing the right thing. If you bump into him at a game or something, say g'day and maybe ask him a question there. But, I wouldn't expect him to, if I rang up to get a phone call back just because I'm member number, whatever the hell I am, So, look, we'll get there, guys. But, it's just frustrating when some of that noise, especially the Gary Leo noise, got a lot of momentum. And you could hear how heated Shane Richardson got. The fact they had to beep out what I don't even know what he said. Was it F-wit? I'm not sure.
I think I think bullshit. I think he said
bullshit. Whatever it was. But like for him, that I've listened to 2 or 3 podcasts with Richo, as you guys had. I've never heard him swear on a podcast. So obviously, there was a real lot of noise there, and he's probably really frustrated, thinking, "Man, we've cut the leaks, we've cut this, we've cut that, and now these stories are going around making us look like idiots again." And let's be fair, those stories are pretty damaging. But again, having, 3 of us have dealt with Michael Shamus before. Shamus is a pretty good bloke, and he's pretty on the money with stuff. So I don't know if it's a former chairman or a former CEO or anyone feeding him stuff just to ignite things again and just cause a stir, because there are a few journalists. I'm not saying Michael is, but there's certainly 2 others that I can think of that seem to be deliberately trying to sabotage the West Tigers. One in particular has got an absolute, B for Shane Richardson. It started from the start of the year, and he's a Cronulla supporter, and we all know who he is. Okay, he's an old drunk dickhead. And the other one, not so much, who's a mate of Tim Sheen's, but it just seemed like they were all pro sort of Sheens and all that. And as soon as Richo took over, they've just been trying to bag Richo and blame him for where we are now, when he's only been in the job for basically 9 months. So look, it's very hard to stay patient as a fan, but guys, just be patient. We got a team that could have put the queue in the rack a month ago, and might not seem like much, but I don't like this spoon bowl. Maybe we should call it Flick the Spoon Bowl or Pride Bowl. I don't think the gay community should own the word pride. It is a pride bowl. This is a week about playing for pride. So, and the fact that we got a chance to even come 16th when we were probably $1.10 to get the spoon a month ago, I know it's only a small thing, guys, but we got to try and, go up the staircase, even if it's one step at a time. And I'm really looking forward to this week. And if we lose, we lose. But I'm going in there with a lot of hope. And I know the boys would have had a big build up for this. And I can tell you now, guys, Jason from My Choice was at training today at lunchtime. He was invited by someone else, and he was very impressed with the way Benji Marshall spoke. And he's pretty excited to watch the game on TV, because he'll be up in Queensland. So look, there's just a big build-up about Friday night, and I'm glad Richo's just kind of put this to bed. And really, I'm blabbing on too much, but we've spoken about this for too long. We need to get onto this big game and try and get some momentum into 2025 and just finish the win with 3 wins in a row. That'd be magic if we could.
Well, put that on hold because I've got one more clip, and I spend the time cutting it up. I'm going to play it. I'll play it. I know. As A, he's got a bit of a sore throat, but B, this sort of stuff like kind of predates kind of Az. But I will get his opinion after this one.
I can assure you this and tell all the members once again. There's 2 things. One, no one's going to knock us off the course we're on. We're on a course that we've committed to. It's on the website. Nothing will change from that. So no matter what, some shit that comes outside from anybody outside will make no.
Oh, press the wrong one. We already had the one. Yeah. It was this.
So this has all been a process. It's slower than we'd like, yes, but it's not held up for any Machiavellian or evil way or people in the background, excepting for people in the background who want to make it Machiavellian to try and set us off our path, which I can tell you now they will not do under any circumstances. So we have processed 90% of the report. There's 2 factors yet, the shareholders, and then from that, the independent board. And I will assure you that, and I've got no reason to doubt it, that they will be truly independent and meet the skill metrics. And Barry O'Farrell is the interim chairman till that's finalised. I have no doubt also that I've never worked with a better chairman than Barry O'Farrell. He is organised. He's across the point. He understands corporate governance. He doesn't flare up and flash up. He doesn't want to be in the front of the cameras all the time. He doesn't want to be. He actually truly believes in corporate governance and the way we're doing things. And to be fair, the tough 8 or 9 months we've had in place couldn't have happened without Barry's leadership and guidance. But he is the same as everybody else, must meet those matrices, which he's quite happy to do. That's what boards do. And
yeah, Rob, who do you think he was referring to in that?
Let's look again. I'm only speculating here, but for the story about Barry O'Farrell having to reapply for his position, okay, which obviously is a fact. He's pretty much confirmed it now, saying that even Barry's got to go through the matrices they've set there, etc., etc. Someone inside the West Tigers organisation, perhaps go a little bit further, Holman Barnes Group, has leaked this to the media. So he's actually like sending a message there, whoever you are that's trying to cause trouble, you're not going to throw us off. Whatever your agenda is, whether you're trying to devalue our club so some other party can purchase it down the track, whatever the case may be, there's obviously some noise there, because how would anyone else, like how would I know or or any other supporter know that Barry O'Farrell has to reapply for the job? Someone has leaked it from somewhere. So, and it's obviously someone within that broader organisation, whether it's West Tigers, Holman Barnes, Balmain, whoever it may be, okay? And he's just sending a message there saying, you can say what you're going to say, but you're not going to knock us off course, and that's great to hear. And I'm glad he gave Barry O'Farrell a bit of a shout out too, because you don't have to be up front and doing TV interviews. And look, when do we hear from Richo? We never hear from Richo just gloating and having what was that stupid other podcast the CEO used to do that was called, like, he just when Richo needs to talk, he just comes up. That was an 8-minute podcast. It wasn't a 2-hour podcast. Oh, look at me, look, I'm Richo, I'm the greatest of all time. It's 8 minutes, cut to the chase. This is what the story is. We've got an issue here. The last 10% of what we're trying to do is just being held up by red tape. It's all under control. Chillax, stop panicking. We know what we're doing, and let's move on. So that's just how he acts. And I bet you we won't hear from Shane Richardson again unless something needs to be said, whether it's a signing, whether it's a coach change or whatever the case may be. He'll just say what he's got to say when he needs to say it. He won't go out there for the sake of it, just as a publicity stunt.
As you got, before we move on to the footy itself, you got anything to add to all the scuttlebutt, as Richo called it?
Not really. I'm happy for Rob, and you to take the bulk of the particular conversation on this topic because, yeah, like you said, it's a little bit before my time, and I don't know too much about this side of the club to really get involved in the discussion. But what I will say is, I just really enjoyed listening to Richo getting so fired up over everything. That was really
That's
fun
what the
to
club's been missing, Aaron. That the club's missing that passion. We need passionate people in there that give a fuck, want the club to do well, and we have a lot of supporters that do care, as has been publicised so many times. Campbelltown's about to be sold out 3 times in a row. We get Leichhardt packed just about every game, and we're coming last. You know, the 2 teams that are second last and last have got a sold out ground. For Friday night, I think it's the worst possible time.
It is the worst.
Slot.
Yeah.
Friday 6 o'clock when you got to fight the
in
M5.
Southwest Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to fight the M5 traffic. People coming home from work to go see a game, and we love our club so much that we all want to go. Like if we've got the opportunity to go, so I think, you know, like a lot of people say, and we've said it for many years. When this club is successful, man, we will need a bigger home ground. We will need to hold 25,000, 30,000 because 15,000 and 13,000 won't cop it.
If you say the Friday 6 o'clock is the worst time slot, then Thursday 8 o'clock is the second worst time slot, and our last game was that time. Well, our last home game was that time slot, and we still had 12,500 at Leichhardt Oval. Like, that is insane, and we were last at the time.
Thursday's probably worse for kids. Yeah, it's but it still gives you enough time to get.
You can get to the game though at 8 o'clock. That's the thing. I just think like Thursday 6 o'clock is probably the worst time. So yeah, but 8 o'clock's better.
Yep. Just a couple of one official signing. Rob mentioned Jack Bird was spotted by Danny Wide, though, who accidentally he was meant to go to the West Tigers presser, went on the wrong day, got a coffee, and then realised Jack Bird was walking out. So he got an exclusive purely by accident. Good on you, Danny. Apparently Jack Bird's been offered a 2-year deal. He doesn't like 2 years and wants more than 2, apparently. What are your thoughts on that, Az?
I'm of the opinion that at this particular point in time, we have to take what we can get. There's not a lot of players out there at the moment that are of the sort of quality that you'd be looking for. But if there are players available and we have lost a few, then I think we're in a position now where we kind of need to focus more on the potential of bringing some players to the club who are going to fill the gaps that we need to, while we continue to build up and train the young guys that are coming through. And I think if we do get Jack, then while a lot of people aren't particularly fond of him, and there's a lot of injury possibilities that he's been dealing with a few injuries in recent times. At this stage, we kind of have to bite the bullet, not be too picky, and hope that if he comes in at the right price, that he's able to do a job for us.
Rob, a lot of discussion in the Patreon Discord this afternoon, and you're not keen.
You and I had some friendly banter, Josh.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm
agree with,
as you know.
I agree with what you said to a degree, Josh, on the Discord, and I certainly agree with what Aaron's saying in that we have to take what's available. Look, the only defence I will say is it's a really poor crop this year of like who's available. There's not much out there. I think most of the better players are off contract next year. Not that ever stops players being released from contract, because I believe Bird was meant to have he's accepted an extension for next year with St George, and obviously that's not happening. I'm telling you now, guys, straight up, I'm not a fan of it at all. I think the guy can play. He hasn't played many games over the last 5 years. He's had a couple of seasons where he's had 20-odd games. He's had a couple of seasons where he's had 9 games. He did his ACL in 2020. And the other thing, and again, I don't know what the price would be that they're talking about, guys, but I heard that St George offered him $600,000 a year, and he knocked that back. So that would mean we are offering him more than $600,000, which to me is a really poor decision. I accept the fact he can play back row and he can play centre, but we don't need a bloke that's just not going to, there's no way he'll get over 15 or 16 games in a season, but, based on his last 4 or 5 years. So I don't think it's a great signing. I would rather suffer another year for want of a better term and have some guys come through and let those players develop and let them get another 25 games under their belt and then spend money on a player who's probably going to be sitting half the time on the sidelines. That's just my opinion. But again, you have to if Richo's part of it, mate. I'm not. Look, we've got to talk about these things as you just said, Josh. You're going to mention the Royce Hunt and all this sort of stuff. We've got to give our opinion. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But I'm just going to give my opinion, whether the club like it or not. I just think it's a poor buy. And if we do end up with Jack Bird, I hope he absolutely rubs egg on my face and he turns out to be a fantastic purchase. But given what he's done the last 4 or 5 years, like he went up to Brisbane to play centre on a $900,000 a year contract for 2 years, and he hardly played a game. And he was 15 kilos overweight. So I just think I want to get away from these retirement fund sort of contracts that we've suffered with in the past. Appy Coruscant is probably the one that has sort of bucked that trend. But everyone else we seem to get that's at the end of their career, it's just an absolute waste of money. I think Jack Bird would be one of them, but let's give the club a little bit of credit. It's not done yet, so maybe I'm going off before it actually happens. But I'd be pretty upset if we did sign him.
Yeah, it all depends on money. Look, for next year, the thing I'm worried about, because we have so much money next year, I don't think we'll even be able to spend it. So I don't think the money really matters that much. You assume they would probably fit it, so he's paid a little bit more this year than he is the second year. But I don't know. I can only speculate on that because we have no idea what players are on because it's not public for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. If he stands in the way of some young kids, like where would you play him at the moment? If you play him at 14, then we've got Luai coming to play with Lockie, but we want Fainu somewhere as well. Do you play Fainu? You can't have Fainu on the bench and Bird on the bench. The half, which Fainu's the half? Latu. You want to have Latu in there somewhere. Like if he stands in the way of Latu.
Josh, respectfully, you're not paying him over $600,000 to play a bench spot. He's going to be starting in the team if we purchase him. That's a fact.
Maybe.
No, I can't imagine the club spending that much of its cap to have a bench player that comes on for 40 minutes. I think you're going to pay that sort of money. They're obviously looking at him as an edge back rower. That'd be a primary goal. But for me, I'd rather develop your Porters or your other guys there and just give them more of a go, because I just don't think we're going to get value out of him. If we made this signing 6 or 7 years ago, I would have been doing backflips. Like the Jack Bird that was a Cronulla was just an absolute beast. And he's still got that ability. Like there's no doubt he can still shrug a player off. He can offload, he can score a try, he can do all that. I'm not doubting his ability. I'm doubting his consistency to be on the field. I just think he's gone through a lot, but again, we'll just see if that happens or not. We're speculating now, and that's only again we like Richo said. Don't listen to everything you hear in the media. And me and you are jumping at something Danny Weidler said today on Twitter. So again, guilty as charged.
He's not. He wouldn't lie. He's done a tour of the facility. It's probably
but does the smile on his face mean that he's signed? Does the smile?
I think
That's how we're sort of looking at it. Like, he walked out of there happy. So, maybe someone cracked a joke before he walked out of the, Concord. I don't know. But
a few people in the comments are saying play 13 with Ball playing lock in the middle. Possibly, we're losing.
He could do that. He could definitely do that. Well, Papali'i shouldn't even be 13 anyway. Papali'i's just filling a role because we got no one else to sort of plug that middle. But Papali'i to Bird is a massive downgrade. So again,
I know, but who'd be better than Bird as a lock at the moment for us
from another club that's available?
No, that's in our squad currently.
We really don't. We don't have a ball playing lock. I mean, the only one that's a ball player is Matamua, and it seems like he's on the outer or hasn't done enough to warrant a first grade selection. But Matamu is the only bloke that can ball play that I can think of. If anyone out there can think of someone else that I can't think of, unless we're thinking of, heaven forbid, throwing Lockie Galvin into 13 to accommodate Latu.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jerome.
So maybe that's the plan, to play him at 30. You can't. Yeah, I don't know, the injury thing. Someone in the Discord today mentioned how many games, and it was only before last year. He played almost the 2 seasons before that, almost the entire season. So
Yeah,
who knows? Yeah, you don't. I don't know. It's hard to know. I don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, and we don't know. We'll have to see. One player that is locked in is Royce Hunt, the big fella from Cronulla Sharks. They let him go early. I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere, but Woodsy, who we'll talk about in a minute, on Triple M this afternoon, he said that the Sharks are being offered a West Tigers player in return. So I haven't seen that said anywhere. The club's confirmed that Royce is on the way. So I don't know if are we sending the Sharkies someone to free up a roster spot. Have you guys heard anything about that? Anyone in the comments, let us know. But I don't know. Woodsy threw that in there this afternoon when they were talking about NRL news. So I don't know if Woodsy's got it mixed up, or I don't know. He's got a few mates. He's a former Cronulla Shark, and maybe he's spoken to someone at the Sharks. So
his mail's pretty good though, Josh.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he wouldn't make it up. But yeah, so
Maybe
we'll see what
giving
happens.
him Bateman, are we? Are we giving him Johnny Bateman back?
Yeah, back. Did Bateman play for
not
the Sharks?
back, like making some room. I mean,
Yeah,
making some room.
he's right.
Maybe he comes back to Australia and we offload him there. I don't know. I don't know.
A couple of people said Bud Sullivan, maybe. Would they take Bud Sullivan? God, Richard's a genius if he gets that up.
I don't think they would. They've got. I mean, right now they've got Daniel Atkinson playing so well, and they dropped him for Nico Hines. So I don't think that'd be the case. I'd love them to take him off our hands.
What positions? Yeah, what positions would they be after over there?
They don't need props because they're getting Fanua Blake next year, which is why we've purchased Hunt. They got too many prop forwards. Their back row looks pretty solid. They're pretty well stocked everywhere. They've actually got a really good squad, and they've got really good depth.
Maybe they want a cheaper sort of player. Ben in the comments mentioned stuff at Torah or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe it was bullshit. Maybe I heard it wrong. But anyway, Royce Hunt, from the Sharkies, plenty of muscle. Excited to see him at the West Tigers next year.
Yeah, he doesn't play a lot of minutes generally at the Sharks, but given who we're losing and the fact that we don't seem to have any other forwards coming in or really coming through at the moment, other than a couple of younger guys, as well as, I guess, Tim and Ruben and a couple of others, but he's going to probably need to play fairly decent minutes for us. I don't know if he'll be a starter or off the bench. There's been a little bit of debate in the Patreon Discord about what sort of role he might have, and if he does come off the bench, then who starts. And obviously there's been a little bit of talk about Fanua. There's been a bit of talk about maybe sending Twal in there, but I like Royce's impact off the bench at the Sharks. He does some of the hard carries, doesn't often make too many meters, but he'll have a game occasionally where he goes absolutely batshit crazy, and it works out really well for them.
Yeah, I was watching a highlights video today, and the thing that stood out for me was post-contact meters. Like, just the guy seems to be... I wouldn't want to try and tackle him. He seems super hard. They very rarely get him on the ground, it seems. He's always on his feet, plays the ball on his feet, moves even off a standing start, he was moving guys back off the defensive line as he ran. So... excited to see him. So he's 100% on his way to the West Tigers next year. So the Crocodile Rolls Royce, bring it on.
So Josh, just real quickly on those post-contact meters, I've got his stats page.
Oh, you did? You did. Oh, you did stats. Good on you. Good on your stats, man. What have you got?
70 games he's played for the Sharks, 2,327 post-contact meters in those games. It's an average of a little over 33. But obviously, if you've got a game where you're making a lot, I'll use his
And he's not
2022.
well per minute. He's only I don't know if you got that in front of you, but he's only playing 30 minutes a game.
He's averaging a little under 24 minutes per game.
So
So
not
he's
even.
kind of having.
So it's more than a meter a minute.
Yeah, he's kind of having those sort of stints where he'll come on maybe about 15 minutes before halftime, and then he'll go back off again about 10, little less than 10 minutes into the second half. So, I mean, Toby Rudolph, they've had there. He's done a lot of the hard yards up front. And obviously, like Rob said, they have to make room for Fanua Blake, so that's why they've had to offload someone. So he'll have a bit of a different role with us than what he had at the Sharks, I think, and we may expect a little bit more of him. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out.
Yeah,
I think if you look at his stats from the last two games, Josh, if you look at last week's game, you'll say, "Wow, I can't wait to have him on board." I think he had something like 78 meters. A dozen or so tackles, and he didn't miss a tackle. Then I kind of went back to the week before against St George, where Cronulla thrashed St George, and he only had like 38 meters, made 17 tackles, but he missed 7 tackles. So that was like obviously a super poor performance. The good thing I like about this signing, though, is if we can get the best out of him, he will be a good buy. He has got the potential. He's got that front rower's body. He's a damaging runner. We've just got to get we keep saying it every week, we've got to have a big off-season fitness-wise, get him up to scratch. We can't be paying him $650,000 a year to be playing, as Aaron said, 24 minutes per game from the bench. We've got to get him up to speed. But if he wants to make it, we're the club he can make it at, and he can make a big difference. But again, there's not too much to choose from out there at the moment, unless other clubs are going to start releasing players. Apparently, Brisbane might be releasing a player or two. The Knights might be releasing a player or two. But I think it's a really good signing if Benji can get the best out of him.
Yeah, Adam Elliott was a name thrown out there as well. Anyone got a quick opinion on Adam Elliott?
A lot of no's in the Discord, but I would absolutely take him in a heartbeat.
As you said that you want him to bring his missus with him.
I mean, yeah, Millie is a top quality player in the NRLW space. She's at the Roosters at the moment. Not sure how long she's contracted there for, but I'd absolutely sign her up if the opportunity arose. And if he came along with her, then, I mean, I don't think it'd be a bad thing having basically a power couple at the club.
As I mentioned Woodsy before. He mentioned, he announced his retirement on what's the show called, The Rush Hour, this afternoon. I was just listening to it while I was working away this afternoon, and he mentioned he's hanging up the boots. So I know a lot of West Tigers fans have an axe to grind and dislike Woodsy because obviously he was part of the big four that, or 3 out of the 4 that left the club on pretty messy terms. He was the captain at the time and that sort of thing. So it was quite a messy breakup. But yeah, I've always loved Woodsy and want to congratulate him on a great career. I reckon he's a very good, down to earth bloke from the couple of times that I've met him and that sort of thing. And chat to him. He follows us on the Instagram and always enjoys what we do here as well, despite being at a non-Tigers club at the moment. So all the best in your media career, Woodsy. And just quietly, he's actually become very, very good at what he does. He's taken over from Wendell on the Rush Hour on Triple M in afternoons. He's actually really good. And the thing that is good about him is he's actually like a passionate rugby league fan. He loves his footy. He watches all the games and still kind of acts like an excited teenager when he talks footy, rather than guys like Wendell who kind of just, I don't know, come in and out and talk about their former clubs and be biased towards them. Woodsy's actually, and he's mates with a lot of players, so he's got a lot of good insight and that sort of thing. Anyone got any opinions on Woodsy?
I think he'll have a stellar media career. He's got really good footy IQ, as you said, Josh, not just because he was a very good player for a period of time, but he's actually really enjoyable to listen to. And I think he does really well with James Graham as well, like from what I've seen on that Fox show, although I haven't seen it on for a couple of weeks. Hope it didn't get axed. Look, just from his point of view, Woodsy's point of view, I'm disappointed in terms of his career that it really didn't kick on after he left the Tigers. I think his best footy was with us. If you watch what he did in the early days with us, like he had a great offload, really good footwork before the line. I just don't think he ever came to those heights at the other clubs he went to, but he obviously loved the game and he just wanted to keep playing the game because, he's a kid at heart and he just wanted to be involved in footy, but he's kind of squeezed as much as he could out of his footy career, and he probably, could have retired 2 or 3 years ago at least, to be fair. But no, good on him. I wish him all the best in retirement. He seems like he's in a really good place mentally, and I think he's going to be one of the strongest media personalities in the game for a while. He's very good to listen to.
Yep. So you mentioned James Graham might be he's one of my favourites as well. He's awesome.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah,
Absolutely
James Graham's great.
Don't always agree with him, but I love him.
No, people don't always agree with you, and they still love you. So that's the way the media works, I guess. As any opinions on Woodsy?
Yeah, I'm also a little bit sad for him that his career didn't kick on after he left the Tigers. He was obviously one of the best forwards in the game at one point. Obviously, he won the Dally M Prop of the Year a few times. And no matter how you slice it, playing 270 games in the NRL is no small achievement.
Australia in the Blues as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he's played 2 games for City, 3 for the Prime Minister's 13, 14 for the Blues, and 17 for the Green and Gold. So a solid rep career in there as well. Obviously it's a little bit of a shame that, like I said, his footy career didn't pan out the way it has. But I haven't listened. I don't listen to Triple M too often, but from what I have heard, like, I have to agree with you both. He's got a really good footy IQ. He's got really good knowledge of the game. He's not biased towards his teams. He'll call it how he sees it. And I hear he's going to be out there at Spoonbowl on Friday night. So
they're broadcasting.
If I get the chance to yell out to him, I'm going to be doing that. So,
he said he's going to walk around. He's going to walk around. He was telling me this. He's going to walk around and get comments from fans. Before the game, they're doing the rush hour and outside broadcast at the club next door. So I think they're going to chat to fans and that sort of thing. So that should be pretty cool if you get out there early enough to see that. So he'll be at Campbelltown, and I saw him at Campbelltown. What game was it? I'm trying to think. Who did we beat at Campbelltown first this year? Raiders, or the Raiders game. He was just there as a fan, just took his son, was having a chat to him. He's like, oh yeah, my young bloke just wanted to come watch the game, and he's just was there as a fan. He genuinely loves footy, and I think despite the way he finished his West Tigers career, I think he still has a big soft spot for, he grew up a Manly fan despite living in Leichhardt and being the 2040 Leichhardt hero and being a Holy Cross boy, but I think he still has a massive soft spot for the club. I think he wanted to come back to West Tigers if that was possible, and the door kind of shut on that as well. So good on you, Woodsy. But anything else, boys? We'll head on to...
Congrats, Woodsy, on a really good career, and looking forward to seeing how he continues to learn and grow and build his media career.
All right, as run us through, if your throat can contain it, give us the last West Tigers, last men's team list for 2024.
All right, fullback is Heath Mason, Junior Tupou, and Charlie Staines are on the wings. Solomona Fatape and Josh Felaty are in the centres. Lockie Galvin and Aiden Caesar are the halves. Stefano Utoikamanu and Dave Clemmer are the props. Api Coruscant at hooker. Alex Seyfarth and Samuel Afenu at second row. Isaiah Papali'i at lock. Latu Fainu, Sione Fainu, Fanua Pole, and Alex Twal are the bench. Tim Johansson, Alex is 18th man. Alex Lobb, Ruben Porter, Kit Lauli'i, and Tony Sukar are our reserves.
So again, Rob, they waited to the last game. Has Josh Felaty played first grade this year? I can't remember. It's been a long year.
He has. He played in our team up in Townsville. He
Right,
was the one. He was the player who got shoulder charged, and lost the ball in a tackle, but the bunker deemed it to not be a shoulder charge.
That's right. Fucking bunker. But yeah, they last game of the year. He played last game of the year last year. I think that was his debut, and again, he's playing the last game of this year. I'm keen to see young Josh get in there. He played pretty well. I caught the end of the Maggies game last week, and he set up the winning try for Talon in that one. So he looked pretty good. Keen to see young Josh. What about you, Rob?
Look, he's getting rewarded for a really good game, as you said, at Lidcombe Oval last time he played. So I'm assuming he's going to be left centre. So he'll be marking Will Penasini. It's a good test for him. But again, it's a really, to be thrown into a big match like that, I guess we didn't have much choice. I'm assuming Alamelo is out due to concussion. But again, we keep talking about the 3-quarter line shuffle every game. We've got another different 3-quarter line again. So it literally feels like it's happened every week bar one, the back half of the season.
That'd be interesting stat to work out. Yeah, have we had 2 to 5 exactly the same more than twice?
And if we have they stayed in their actual positions that they were named in as well? Because they can still have the same numbers on their back and be on different sides of the field.
Yeah. So Junior Tupou, Isaiah Papali'i, and Stefano Utoi Kamanu, all their last games for the club so Benji going out to win the Spoonbowl. He didn't just let those guys ride off into the sunset. They're getting one last game and hopefully one last win.
Yeah, the club are normally pretty good at farewelling players who are leaving at the last home game of the year. It is a little bit of a strange thing to have 3 home games plus a bye to finish the year, but we'll take it. Would have been nice if we were in finals contention, because that's actually really good preparation to go into a final series. But anyway, this is basically our grand final, so it's nice to spend a bit of time at home in the lead up to our grand final. I'm expecting a lot from Stefano, Ice, Aiden, and anyone else who may or may not be leaving, Junior as well. So I hope they all rip in, do their best to make sure that they send out their current club not last.
Obviously, no Buller till next year. Heath Mason, had a bit of an up and down game last game out against Manly, Rob. But I'm enjoying Heath Mason getting a crack at the fullback position.
Yeah, Josh, I actually think, with the exception of that early drop bomb, I thought he had a great game. I didn't think there was much negative about it.
I was being a bit harsh there, yeah.
I think you were being a bit harsh. I think it was actually better than his Campbelltown game against South. But no, he's doing well. We mentioned last week, 3 of the spine members are still eligible for SG Ball. I'm curious to see if actually Aiden Caesar actually plays. I thought his shoulder was pretty bad, but again, he's been named, so that's quite interesting. I was touting on our Discord chat, guys. Obviously we'll get on the Parramatta team shortly, but I would assume I would like to see Junior Tupou on the right wing to mark the big body of Sivo. And I think it'd be an easier matchup having an experienced Charlie Staines outside Folletti on the left. So I'm hoping we kind of line up like that, but that'll be interesting to see. I don't see Fata Ape moving from the right centre position. So that'll be interesting to see how we line up. But again, will Caesar play? If Caesar doesn't play, obviously Latu starts. Who comes onto the bench? There's quite a few questions there. But as Aaron said, I'm pretty sure Steph, Ice, Junior, I think they're all going to fire up this week, and they will do their best to try and get rid of this spoon tag off our belt. Yeah,
they definitely could have put the cue on the rack, but they have the last couple of games really put in and helped us win a couple of games. So fingers crossed. Yeah, they do just that. Triple Fainu again, as I believe is this the third Fainu hat trick? And they keep scoring tries when they play together. They did it against Souths at Gossie. They did it at Manly.
Yes,
we had two Fainai score last game. Can we get some more Fainai tries this week?
I think it's actually the 4th or the 5th time we've had.
Is it? Oh, it's been a long year. I've got
yeah,
no
it-
recollection.
it
Or the
may
whole
be
23 games is just melted into one in my head.
I mean, I can't blame you. It has been a bit of a rough season. I think there's a lot of potential there. I really like the idea of Sam Weller off another short Lockie Galvin pass. I do think there's a lot of potential there for points. Parramatta in particular have shown that they have been particularly frail in defense. I think off the top of my head, I checked our points against column on the ladder last week after Parramatta's game, and considering they conceded 40 and still won, I'm pretty sure we might be neck and neck or very close to neck and neck on points conceded. So not only does the loser come away with the wooden spoon, the loser comes away with the worst defensive record for the season. So 2 tags that neither team would want. It's just a really important game for the fans, for the players who are going to be there next year. And I think especially for Benji as well. If Benji can come into the club as the full-time coach for the first season, regardless of the fact that he had the headset on last year for most of the season, if he can avoid the spoon in his first official year as the coach, I think that'll do wonders for his confidence going into next year as well. And then obviously with the players we've got coming through next year, if we can have, or the players coming into the team next year, if they can come into a team that didn't finish last, that has already started to move in the right direction up the ladder, then the job for them becomes so much easier too.
Righto, moving on to the filth that is the Eels of Parramatta. Run us through their team list.
All right. Clint Gutherson is at fullback with Micah Sevo and Sean Russell on the wings. Will Penasini and Blaze Talangi are the centres. Dylan Brown and Dejan Arce are the halves. Regan Campbell-Gillard and Sean Lane are the props. Brendan Hands is at hooker. Kelma Tuolangi and Bryce Cartwright are the second rowers. Joe Offahengawi is at lock. Joey Lussick, Makahesi Makatoa, Luca Moretti and Ofahiki Ogden are the bench. Jake Tungo is 18th man. Matt Dury, Ethan Sanders, Hayes Dunster, and Wiramu Greg are the reserves.
Yeah, a couple of old friends in the 4-pack there. And obviously Mitchell Moses, another old friend, not playing for the Eels in this one. Rob, it's still for a team that's possibly the wooden spoon. It's not a bad-looking side, the Parramatta Eels, as much as I despise them.
Yeah, it's got a lot of quality in there, guys, and they've got players out as well. A bit like you, Josh. It's been a long year, and I'm having brain fades too. But Aaron can help me out with the Super Coach champion that normally plays lock for them and represented Queensland this year. He's out. I don't think they've got Matto there as well in the pack. They don't have Junior Bolo in the pack.
Another old friend, yeah.
Yeah, so they've actually got quite a few forwards out. But they're scoring points. I mean, they scored 44 the other day against St George, and their Dejan Arce missed 5 goals. They could have 54. They scored 34 against the Panthers in a losing effort about a month ago. They've got a lot of second phase in them. We're really going to have to control the ball really well, like really have high completions. I'd expect us also to be kicking to Parramatta's right-hand side, which will be our left, and just, you don't want Micah Sevo running the ball back and giving their sets momentum. We're better off kicking to Sean Russell, who didn't play last weekend. I think his place was taken by the 18th man there. So, again, I just think we've just got to play our game, complete our sets. Don't give these guys too much ball in good positions. They've got so much second phase in them. They've got nothing to lose to. They've kind of been playing that jungle ball style, and that's why they scored so many points against George last week. And let's give ourselves a bit of credit, boys. I think Parramatta eased off that last 10 minutes against St George because they had bigger things in mind, like the game this week with the Pride Bowl. So I think that might have been the reason that the Dragons scored 5 tries in about 10 minutes there. So, look, they've got a good team, and they're going to be hard to hold out, and especially when you look at our 1 to 5. I mean, young Heath Mason's had a handful of first grade games. Folletti's second or third game that he's played. Junior Tupu's been out pretty much most of the year. He's only had a handful of games this year. Fatahape's probably had a dozen games. They do have a bit more strike out wide than us. So we've just got to do what we do and just, rip in and really try and end this season on a high. But like I said to you at the start, boys, win or lose, I'm just really proud of how they finished the season. The boys, like I said, they could have turned it up. And it just, for me as a fan who's been a long time fan of not only Balmain but West Tigers, it just makes me appreciate every win now. Like it's because we've had so few wins the last few years. I just feel great after the fact that we did have a couple of wins in a row, and that we're going to have a great atmosphere, and we're really going to need to get off to a good start, boys. I know we came back from 16-0 down against Manly, and we had a big lead against South, so it can work both ways. But I feel like we just need to put a bit of scoreboard pressure on Para, just really stay on top and just get in the grind with them and don't let them get too far ahead. And, if we can do that, anything can happen. I still think Parramatta deserve to be favourites, but I'm just hoping for a miracle, guys. I really hope. We've got such a young team, man. And it'd be really, honestly, it'd feel like winning a final if we win this game. I just think it's more important for us to finish 16th than Parramatta. I actually think in some ways it's better for Parramatta to finish last for the fact that they're getting us a new coach and the only way is up for them. I just think it means more for us to finish second last than them. But again, if we do lose, I'm still proud of what Benji and the boys have really brought the last month. They've given us a lot of hope. And the fans are showing it by rocking up to the games, and we're still active on the socials and trying to get behind the boys, and we've still got hundreds of people downloading our podcasts and stuff like that, and other West Tigers podcasts as well. So no, it's just a really good. I just think it's great to be a West Tigers supporter, and I just hope Richo can sort of fix things up in the next 12 months, and we can make a few more good signings or better signings than the projected ones that we might be being touted for.
John asked on Facebook, do you know off the top of your head the bunker and refs? I think you posted them in the Discord today.
Yeah,
I did. So it's Peter Goff is the on-field, Belinda Sharp and Ziggy Proleska-Adamski are the touchies, with Chris Butler in the bunker.
Look, Belinda Sharp. So plenty of forward passes to be called from the sideline then, with old Sharp eyes on there.
Bothers me that Goff's the referee, considering we got 3 sin bins off him against Manly. You just feel like he could go the other way this time. Balance the ledger. Yeah.
A question from, who was it? Someone asked, Tom asked, how similar are the teams to round 4? So I've got the team in front of me now. So obviously we had Buller at fullback. We had Olam in the centres instead of, who do we have at centre? So it's actually the same, just replace Felady with Olam. Halves the same. What we got? Steph, Appy, Clemmer.
Johnny Bateman would have been there.
Johnny Bateman on a edge, and Fanil Pole at lock, and then only Safer. We only played 2 players off the bench. Safer and Samuel came off the bench in that one for the Eels.
Was Papali'i in that game for us in round 4?
Yes.
He was on an edge. Yeah. So Penasini, Morgan Harper was in the centre, not Blaze Tulagi, or Talangi, sorry. He was in the halves. Blaze Tulagi was in the halves with Dylan Brown.
Yeah.
Did Moses not play Easter either?
No, so round 3 was the last game Moses played before he got injured, and then he spent a lot of time out injured between round 3 and then
Origin.
The call up. He played against the Dogs, I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Or he played against someone. Maybe. Oh no, the Sharks, which got him the call up to Origin.
Joey Lussick was at hooker, not Brendan Hands.
Brendan Hands was on the bench, I think.
He was. God, you got a good memory. Often Gowie was on the bench as well. Luca Moretti was on the bench as well. Is he in there?
Yeah, he's on the bench.
He's on the bench this week.
Yeah. Hopgood on the bench as well.
That's who it was. Jermaine Hopgood. He's out.
He's out injured.
And Madison. Yeah, Madison's not there either. So they're pretty close. But
Makatoa and Ogden weren't there for Easter Monday. but I think they might have been in the reserves in the lead up to that game. Also, just a fun fact on the team lists for you guys. No matter which way the result goes, a player who wins the wooden spoon is going to Penrith next year. Just a matter of whether it's going to be Blaze Talangi for Para or Isaiah Papali'i from us.
There you go. That's why you're the stats man. Righto, let's get the ChaseBet app out while we do our tips for the week. The Brisbane Broncos, fair outsiders. Their season is shot.
Close.
So Melbourne Storm heavy favourites, though. Did the Storm rest anyone?
They're bringing back their players. They've brought all of them back in.
They've got everyone back. They've switched Far Logo to fullback because Pappenhausen's out with a leg injury.
We've all gone Storm in that one. Brisbane Broncos nearly $5.
Yeah, and the Storm will cover the line by plenty. That line's short.
This one,
15
like
and a half.
no Payne Haas for Brisbane as well. This one could get pretty ugly pretty quickly because they've checked out.
Yeah, I'd expect a big first.
They've checked out.
I'd expect a big first half, Aaron, and then they'll probably be thinking about the finals and just ease up in the second half and keep a gap on the scoreboard.
What's Shawnee Bloor for a try? 1 second.
Do you reckon Storm to win the first half and then Broncos to win the second half, but Storm still win the game?
I just think Storm will score more points in the first half. I think they'll put 24 to 30 on him in the first half, and then go into cruise control second half. They'll rest a few players back half of the game, like last 20 minutes or so.
Did Bloor get named for this game?
Yep, he's named.
Yep.
Can't see him in the betting. There, it's all right. I'll look it up later. Righto, Parramatta Eels and West Tigers. As and I've gone Tigers. Rob, you're emotionally hedging.
I again, just no disrespect to Josh Folletti, I just think it's a big ask. Not having played first grade for so long, we just have so many young guys in the team. It would be a beautiful achievement if we could win this game, and I certainly think we can win the game. I just think Parramatta are just free rolling. They're just playing, second phase, having fun. But again, I mean, Barrett's kind of used to wooden spoons and being a bad coach, so we do have that in our favour. But look, whatever happens, guys. I'm just happy to get out there and hopefully the boys just rip in and give it their best.
I think the thing we need to keep in mind about Parramatta conceding 5 tries in the last 11 minutes or so last week is the fact that Gutherson was off the field at the time as well, and he does a lot of directing the defense from the back, and they really seemed to miss that when he was off. But the fact that he's playing somewhat injured at the moment works well in our favor. If we can potentially, I don't know how active he'll be in attack, but if he is, we kind of need to make sure we're putting a lot of pressure on him. We really need to put pressure on him if we send our kicks to him. So our line speed from our kick chasers needs to be on point. And I think if we can nail that and put some doubt and question in his mind, that'll go a long way to winning the game. But we also have to be really careful when it comes to Sivo as well, because we know what he's capable of. But I'm believing. I've got the faith in the boys this week, and I really hope that next time we see each other after the game on Tuesday, that we are winners and not last.
We have a pretty good record when both of you guys tip us and I go against us. Just letting you know that. So that could be another stat that you could be working on, Aaron. But I think you guys are 2 out of 2 for when you both tip the Tigers and I don't. So let's hope it's 3 out of 3.
We've all gone the poor old Roosters. The copped a few injuries, but they're still heavily favoured. Normally one of the best games of the year. This one, they're finishing against the old foe, the Rabbitohs in Homebush, Friday night footy. But the Rabbitohs are shot too, so they're trying to not play a healthy Latrell. We've all gone Chooks. Yep, we've all gone Chooks in that one. Anyone got any reason why the Rabbitohs will win this one? They're ready to go to Bali.
I think the Chooks. Yeah, Chooks for me, Aaron.
I'll say one thing in South's favour. The fact that I think the preliminary odds for the game before team lists were announced had Souths at a little over $6, and the fact that they've come into a little bit under $4 now shows just how big of an impact the Roosters' injuries have had. But I think the Roosters still have enough class there to win this game, but I honestly think their season is done. They could get knocked out in straight sets in the finals. They may make it to a prelim, but that would mean a date with probably Melbourne at Melbourne, and I don't think they win that one.
Yeah, South have got no Cam Murray and no Jack Whiten as well. That Jack Whiten's a big out for them. So
yeah, Jack is the biggest out, and that takes a lot from their attack, and I don't see them scoring much of anything. I think they'll be lucky if they score 2 tries.
Yeah, I think Roosters by enough.
Good one. This one, Dragons Raiders. Rob and I have gone Dragons as you've gone Raiders.
Mm-hmm. I've completely and utterly lost faith in the Dragons after their last 2 weeks. They've had it all to play for. They had a top 8 position in the palm of their hand. All they had to do was take hold of it, and they've literally shit the bed. Their last 2 weeks
literally shit the bed.
Yeah, well, basically, their last 2 weeks have been utterly.
That's very different. That's not literally. Yeah, literally shit the bed means they actually shat the bed. That's what literally means.
I don't care. I'm just making a point. I'm emphasizing a point.
You tell him, Aaron.
They wear white shorts. It'd be pretty noticeable.
They've been putrid, and I have no faith in them. I think the Raiders can get the job done, and for at least 20 hours or so, or actually no, a little bit longer than that, they'll be sitting in the top 8.
Yeah, I've been a bit of a hypocrite there, Josh. I said that I'd never tip a team with Matt Feeney in the team again. Which I should digress and say Xavier Savage will score a try. The only reason I'm going St. George, I like the fact that Sully is back in at centre. I think that's a big inclusion. But the other thing, I just thought that game from Canberra against the Roosters was so brutal. Canberra played for 20 minutes of the game without Elliott Whitehead, who got sin bin twice. And I just think it's going to take a huge effort to recover physically from that. Not to mention the fact that Flanagan just absolutely ripped his St. George team post-game a new one. I think Saints might just have a little bit of a bite back and come out in and win. And I don't think it'll be a very high-scoring game. I'd say Saints 1-12 in a pretty low-scoring game.
We've all gone doggies against the Cowboys. Mathematically, what's the table looking? The winner, I think the winner gets a home game next week.
The winner of this game is guaranteed to finish 5th place unless the Bulldogs win and the Sharks lose by a combined 68 points or something. Then the Bulldogs have a chance of sneaking into the top 4. But basically, as it stands, the winner of this game is going to finish 5th and host whoever wins out of the final game of the round.
So that's
the
big.
Loser. And yeah, the loser may still, but that will depend on if Manly can beat the Sharks.
Okay. We've all gone the Panthers against the Titans. Yeah, the Titans shot. Panthers are ramping things up. No Cleary yet, but they said first week of the finals. Manly against the Sharkies. The Battle of the Beaches. As you've gone Manly, Roberto and I've gone the Sharkies. Tommy Turbo's out, so isn't he?
Yeah, Turbo's out. Cooler at fullback.
So that's why I've gone Sharks.
Yeah.
Last time. Sorry, Rob, you go.
No, I was just going to say, I think Turbo's, a quarter to a third of their team. It's just too big an out. I know they've got enough strike there, to win, but I just think Cronulla are a little bit more solid, and they'll be pretty keen to avenge that poor finish they had against New Zealand last Saturday night.
Last time Manly were without Turbo, I tipped against them thinking that same thing that you were thinking, but they actually ended up destroying whoever they played in that game, and I was left kind of eating my words. As for this one, I've gone with Manly just because I think they have more to play for. The Sharks can afford a narrow loss and will likely still be going to Melbourne either way for the first week of finals. And also, the Sharks have played 40-something games at Brookie. for only 7 wins. So they can't seem to beat Manly there. So I'm backing Manly in.
They had the grand final replay, these two teams, didn't they, back in the day, Rob?
Yeah, 1978. I think it was 8-8 in the original
That's
grand
insane.
final.
That's crazy to just play another game, another grand final.
Mate, they played it on
The AFL
Tuesday
did that
as
a
well.
few years ago. The AFL did that a few years ago, didn't they? They had a tie, and then they just go like, "Oh, let's play again next Sunday." That's fucking
that
crazy.
was who was that? That was
Collingwood. Was it a Collingwood?
Collingwood, Brisbane, or someone?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know
No,
how
Collingwood,
the fuck I
St
remember
Kilda.
that.
Collingwood, St Kilda. That's who
Yeah.
it was.
They would have made so much money though.
But imagine having a rugby
AFL.
league grand final, a brutal grand final at 3 o'clock Saturday, and then you have your replay Tuesday afternoon, like two full days rest, and then you play Tuesday.
Oh, it wasn't the weekend. They played it on a weekday
they played
afternoon.
on Tuesday. No,
That's
we
funny.
were. I was jigging class listening to the game before school finished, so
That's funny.
couldn't watch the game back in those days.
Why
You
didn't
had
they
to
play it
put it on the radio.
Why didn't they play it at night?
They didn't play grand finals at night. All grand finals were during the day.
Oh, okay. Different times.
I think the first night grand final was Para and Newcastle in 2001. I don't remember games being at night prior to that.
Yeah, I was at the 98 grand final as a kid, and that was an afternoon game. 99, yeah, the Dragons, I think you're right there. I think 2000 was the first.
2001.
What was 2000? Roosters, Broncos. Yeah, that's
Broncos. Yeah.
Yeah. Where am I up to? Last game, Knights, Dolphins. Rob's gone Dolphins, Az and I've gone Knights and Knights. Probably should mention too. Rob and I are on 116, Az on 115. So we'll see. Yeah, and we tipped plenty of different combinations here. So.
Do you want me to put the jinx on myself? I'm going to put the jinx on myself, Josh. I actually reckon I'm getting a full round this week.
Okay.
And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, especially
I hope you're wrong too, because you've gone Para.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I just thought, look, this is one of the hardest games, along with the Canterbury game. I think this one's one of the hardest games of the week, and they got everything to play for. But I just think Wayne Bennett's team, the way he got them up against Brisbane, like I wanted to tip the Dolphins last week, but I couldn't, the way they got smacked by Melbourne. And it'd be a bit like trying to tip the Gold Coast to beat Penrith this week. Like after you get smashed like that, how do you bounce back from it? But they were so impressive. Herbie Farnworth and the hammer in the centres, they were really good. And obviously Newcastle played well. They had Bradman Best back, and Pong is elite. So that's going to be a cracking way to finish the season.
Dolphins, Knights. Yeah, Rob, you've gone Dolphins. We've gone Knights as, and both these.
I think.
Can the Knights make it?
Yeah. The winner makes the 8.
Yeah.
Oh,
unless it's a 90-minute
right.
draw. Unless it's a 90-minute draw, which won't happen.
And that allows Dragons.
Completely rule that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, Josh. So the winner of Dragons and
funny.
Raiders goes into 8th place and will stay there only if there's a draw in that final game. Otherwise, the winner of the final game finishes top 8 and will go and play the winner of Dogs and Cowboys in week 1.
I was kind of hoping for Dogs Dragons because I feel like that'd be a huge game at Homebush.
That'll be sold out.
It's not very likely anymore.
Yeah, I'd like literally be close to a sellout at Homebush, I reckon.
I'm going with the Knights because I think home field advantage will really work for them here. The Knights fans will know how big this is, and they will show up in their absolute droves. And I think it'll be enough. I think it'll be enough to get the job done.
Yep. Remember to lock your doors Saturday night, because there's a lot of Dogs fans.
It's gonna be Leichhardt 2019 levels of absolute madness in the crowd at Newcastle on Sunday, Arvo.
Rob Stradamus, you did have something for me. I totally forgot to copy and paste it into the slide. What did you had a try scorer?
I will try and remember it. I definitely had Will Warbrick, the right winger for Melbourne. I believe that's a little bit of a I think Corey Oates is a little bit past it, and I'd assume he's going to be playing left wing this week. So I'd gone Will Warbrick, definitely gone Xavier Coach on Matt Feeney. I've already beaten that one to death.
Okay, you put that in your text message.
Yeah, I like Junior Palgers replacing Daniel Tupu this week for the Roosters on the left wing. I like that matchup. I think he can score a try. And I've just gone blank on the final one. Ronaldo Mulatalo. That's it. Ronaldo Mulatalo. I think Jason Saab's out this week.
You said Savage too for Raiders.
Savage for Raiders, and Ronaldo Mulatalo for Cronulla. So those four try scorers, I think they're a pretty good shout. No, it's four. I think I read out. No, I said Savage once, but you repeated it.
So Warbrick, Palga, Savage, Mulatalo.
Mulatalo. Yeah, four. That's it. Four anytime try scorers.
Didn't you say? I thought you said someone else. Okay.
No. I had originally put Daniel Tupu there, Josh, but not realising he was out. And Junior Palgers replaced him.
NRLW, the girls, you don't have to spend too much time on this, but you talking about shit in the bed before. It was one big brown stain of a game, this one.
Yeah, it was a really tough game to watch. Really hard to see the girls have a bit of a stinker. Honestly, the first try the Knights scored off of what I can only say was a Testane's absolute brain fade. Yeah, kind of set the game up to be not great. And we just couldn't halt their momentum. We kept giving them penalties and easy field position, and then the field position in the first half that we got, we weren't able to do anything with it. Like we had a set from halfway off a penalty with 1 minute to go in the first half, and before the first tackle even, we knocked the ball on, and then we have to spend the rest of the last minute defending our try line, and we only just managed to pull it off. Ebony Pryor with a nice little try from dummy half. She was always going to find a way to try and get through the Knights defense on the line, and she had a couple of cracks at it before it actually paid off. But the fact that we were able to hold them out for most of the second half showed that there were some improvements between the first half and the second, but it was just a terrible game. And I really hope for the girls' sake they can find a win in the last three games and get at least a little bit of something out of this season, because it's been tough for them. Can't deny that.
So they're up in Townsville, 11 o'clock Saturday.
Yep.
Any chance against the Cowboys?
I'd like to say yes, but I don't think so. The Cowboys have had a lot of really good signs. We've both lost to the Broncos in the last couple of weeks, but I think up there the Cowboys are probably going to be a little bit too strong. There's also going to be one Ja'Kiah Whitfield who has a lot to say against us and could potentially take us to the cleaners.
Oh, she took the money to go to Townsville.
I'm pretty sure she's actually the highest paid NRLW player in history, and I think that was why she went up there, because the money they were offering was way too much to what we could offer her. And they actually offered her the chance to play fullback, although she hasn't played a single game of fullback up there.
Correct.
Liars. You've had a 3-2, managed to put together a 3-2-1 for this stinker.
Yeah, it was tough, but Christian Pio got the 3. I thought when she was on the field, she was one of the few who didn't make an error. She always tried to make the tough carries and really tried to put the team on her back. Ebony Pryor, the pocket rocket out of dummy half, got the 2 points. I really enjoy watching her, although there is a little bit of concern around her defensive abilities, mainly because she's so short and teams find it really easy to basically steamroll over the top of her. And Montana Clifford, new signing as of a couple of weeks ago, got my 1 point. I don't think I've ever seen a stretch of 2 games from one player who's only just joined the club in a very recent, very short amount of time, has had such performance. And Montana's really impressed me in her first 2 games, and I hope for the last 3 she shows us a bit more of what she's capable of.
Rakea Horn is out in the lead there. So yeah, we'll see if she'll take out the Aaron Thompson Award for this year. The Jersey Flag boys, they finished their set. What a way to finish your season, in Fiji. Not a bad place to have your Mad Monday. They won 32-0 against the Silk Tails. They missed out on the semis. They were literally tied six, top six, and didn't make it on for it against, unfortunately. So they won't play finals footy. They missed out.
It was actually top five, Josh. So basically, we started the round in 8th. We went up to 5th after our win because we were the first game. We needed the Eagles, the Eels, and the Sharks to all lose to keep us there. The Eagles went first and they lost, which was good. So we stayed there. And then the Eels beat the Dragons and the Sharks beat the Warriors. So both of those results pushed us out of 5th down to 7th. And yeah, so it's the top 5 in both flag and cup. And I'm actually really pissed off that they're doing a top 5 system, and because they've changed it since the COVID seasons. It's really crap because with so many teams in the competition, you think you'd want a few more playing in the finals, even if it was a top 6. Although I think, especially in Cup, it should still be a top 8. Although I guess there's not like 16 teams in there. But in saying that, you probably still want a good amount of teams in your finals series, and just to make it a little bit more enticing, especially for the younger players.
I guess I don't want more than 3 weeks of semis. That's probably why.
It still takes 4 weeks, though.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so week 1, first has a bye, second place 3rd, and 4th place 5th. In week 2, first place whoever wins out of 2 and 3, and whoever loses out of 2 and 3 plays the other winner, so out of 4 and 5. The winner of that game between 1 and whoever they play gets a week off in the 3rd week and goes through the grand final, while the loser gets a second chance against the other team that's still left standing. So it's still a 4-week system. It's just weird.
Okay.
Just
so
strange.
put simply, anyone from my vintage would understand the old top 5 system. That's pretty much the old top 5 system. Prior to the McIntyre system, that's the old top 5 system.
I probably didn't explain that the best, but I had a crack. So.
No, you did. You explained everything perfectly. I'm actually impressed with how we went from 8th to 5th and then dropped down. Like you're all over it, Aaron. Like, good on you. That's good info.
The Harvey Norman women, they went down at 20-4 against the Knights. They're playing at Lidcombe Oval on 2:00 on Saturday afternoon. For some reason, they're playing the Dragons. Obviously, it doesn't link up with the NRLW where they're playing the Cowboys, and I don't think there is another game. I think it's just them at Lidcombe Oval. The Magpies are done. They got the bye. Jersey Flag are done. So I think it's just the Harvey Norman girls playing Saturday afternoon. So if you want to watch some West Tigers footy again on Saturday, go support the Harvey Norman girls in that one against the Dragons over at Lidcombe Oval. Super chat time. We've got a couple of legends that sent us super chats. Brendan, as always, supporting the show, sent us $8 to say, hope everyone enjoys the game regardless of the result. A win would mean a lot. Enjoy your Spoonbowl footy. Thank you, Brendan. And one of the OGs, Shane Coet, says, I was so positive about Friday until Rob brought up some of the matchups that I didn't really look at. Give me a positive, Rob. Hopefully see you guys at the game. 100% we'll be there.
We will will them to victory.
We will see you catch us. We'll probably take the camera and the Aaron's spotlight and the microphone and do another post-match video outside the entry to the club. Hopefully no one hears this and kicks us out from security. But yeah, we'll
public area, mate. No one's going to kick us out from anywhere. It's out in the public.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works, but I think it's technically owned by the club. But look, we'll give the West Club a shout out for it.
I'll be going down early. I'll be in the club. So
yeah,
I love it there.
We'll put a lobster each through the pokies for them. How's that? More chili. Patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to support the show. Plenty will go on in the off season. NFL starts this week, as plenty NFL chat. Your Bengals, my
go the Bengals.
Broncos. Ty Gus, so Gussie said, best West Tigers content available right here. My rant is about the hard work, passion, loyalty, tenacity, and love you guys show for our beautiful club and fans through the doldrums. Ain't no fair weather fans here, just OGs and fire. Much love, great Tiger humans. Thank you for all you do. Good on you, Gussie.
Thanks,
Ben
Gussie.
Ellis said, just wanted to remind you all that I predicted the win and that the above message didn't get read out because I was ripped off for not getting a second show.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was for last week.
That was for last week. We didn't play on the weekend.
Shane again said, happy Felady gets another chance this week. Deserves it after playing well for the Maggies. Let's all go out in a high, boys. Fuck yeah. Amazon Girl, aka Carla, said, long live Sir Richo. Good on you, Carla. Righto. Till Tuesday night. Hopefully review one last win for the season. Anything before we say goodnight to Big Dog, fellas?
Well, obviously, whoever goes out Friday night, come and say good day to us. We'll be floating around there. I'll be there a couple of hours before the game. I just want to give a shout out to my young cousin Zach, who's playing for the Leichhardt Wanderers on Sunday in his grand final. They got a big task against the Might of Coogee, which is almost like a South Sydney junior rep side. I'll be going out to Leichhardt Oval. They're versing Coogee, yeah. So
how does that? Don't they play Balmain area teams? How does that work?
I don't know how it works. All I know is that there's so many grand finals on. There's like 7 or 8 grand finals on, starting from 8 a.m. in the morning down to
where's that at?
The last game at Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah,
so
nice.
It's the Balmain sort of grand finals there. So his game's the last cab off the rank. So good luck to him. Hope they can get the win. It always love going out to Leichhardt. So Campbelltown and Leichhardt in one weekend for me should be a good weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to. I'm waiting just a couple more years to put my son. Got to try and pick because we're in Tigers territory here. Do I go over to the Wanderers? Do I go to the Shamrocks? Could go Righties. We're kind of in the middle of a few different Balmain clubs.
Go to the junior.
Go to where?
Leichhardt Juniors.
As in Wanderers.
No, there's Leichhardt Juniors. There's Leichhardt Wanderers.
Yeah. There's Holy Cross as well. I don't know. Have to. Who will sign him? Throw us a contract. I'll meet up, sign my young bloke for the under 6s in a couple of years time. As anything to leave us on? I just saw who was it? Someone Scotty asked if we're doing an episode next week. Yeah, a couple more weeks. So next week we'll obviously we've got a game to review and a season to review. Might even whip out your season predictions. See, or name and shame who
got it right
and wrong. And then we always do an end of year survey episode as well. So we might do that the week after that.
2 more shows, boys.
Two more shows, yeah.
From the iChoice studio.
And then we'll probably still do a couple of episodes throughout the off season. Like last year, we might do the draw.
Yeah.
Analysis.
Oh yeah, that was good fun. Yeah, when the draw comes out, Az and I will break all that down. So we'll do a few random shows across the summer, but yeah, we need a break. It's been a long
tough year.
I mean, it's been a good back end of the year. The first half of the year we had
the losing streaks and the string of conceding 40 points a game was not particularly fun. That's been the part that hasn't been fun. But I'm looking forward to this game. Hopefully we can really end our season on a high and hand the spoon over to Clint Gutherson and the rest of his Parramatta Squeals.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy. Righto, we'll see you at Campbelltown on Friday night. Come say good day. I'll take some stickers. If you want a sticker, I'll chuck some stickers in my pocket as well. Handed out a couple of those the last couple of games. Shouts to all the homies that come up and say they love the show. We really appreciate thousands of you that watch every week, our Patreons, our listeners, our live legends every week as well. The hundreds of you that join us tonight as well. We'll be back next Monday. But see you Friday night at Campbelltown. As always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. and facebook.com/WestsLife Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.